I get a phone call from the U.S. Attorney in San Antonio, who's another friend, Bill Black, who really did a fantastic job. He goes, Steve, I just got a call from the FBI saying Amato's dead. What do you know about that? And I'm like, Bill, this is a facade. We knew he was trying to get out, and he's been down, and he's sent a crew down to Santiago, and he's buying up a bunch of property in Chile. And I said, get ready. Where are we going to try him? You still need to make that decision. We can't try him in El Paso. It'd be too dangerous. We need to do it in San Antonio. He goes, I think you're right. He said, you really think that's it? I said, this fits because of the information that we were getting that was very high quality, really high quality. And the Chilean said, hey, if he shows up down here, you be ready because we're going to put the handcuffs on him and we want to give him to you. We don't want him in our country any longer than he has to be. So there was going to be no extradition. They were just going to kick his ass out, and we needed to have the Lear there ready to go. And I'm like, man, this is great. I'm going to make some calls. So I start making calls. I'm like, oh, man, this is starting to sound like Amato. So there was an intel analyst, Larry Villalobos, who was down there. And Larry had worked with my wife at Epic as an analyst, DEA analyst. And he's assigned to Mexico City. And Joe Arabit, who was later my boss, was the Mexican agent, was the DEA agent in Mexico assigned to Amato. So he had the Mexico side, I had the U.S. A lot of our stuff didn't cross over. He sent some witnesses that I ended up using for the historical that were really high-end stuff. It was good. But that's where most of our crossover happened. So Larry goes out and prints the body. Larry used to be an FBI fingerprint examiner. And we had one thumbprint from Amato from a border crossing card when he lived in Ojinaga. And he was working for his uncle Pablo Acosta. Larry compared it. Match. Phoebes followed up on that. They did DNA testing, and they also did because back then you could do comparative DNA testing. If you had a subject and a sample, you could bounce them and do a comparison. They also had an agent that was a forensic dentist in the reserves, and they sent him down, and he did his thing. Amato, straight up.
But tell the audience how he ended up dying.
So Amato was planning his exit. He had sent a crew down to Santiago, and we later learned he'd gone down there himself some. And there's some high-quality evidence of that, too, that just got missed. Otherwise, we would have ended up with Amato in jail. But he was preparing to leave. So he went to Mexico City, to the top 2 plastic surgeons, cutters, in the country, 17 blocks from the embassy in Mexico City, and had massive reconstructive surgery on his face, liposuction, all kinds of stuff done to him. So they do all this work on him. They put him in recovery, and he's got his own personal physician. And the 2 cutters, they tell the physician, he's going to wake up, he's going to be in pain. Don't give him anything because you'll dose him. Just don't. You just got to sort of push through it, and we'll manage the pain. Let us do that. Okay. Amato wakes up. What happens? I'm hurting. Give me dope. He gives his own physician OD'd him, killed him. He ended up in a bucket of lye. One of the physicians we know ended up in a bucket of lye, and I'm not sure the other. One came across in San Diego, wanted to cooperate. I give up. I want to cooperate. We got a call. We don't have any use for him, so they kicked him back across. I think he got shot and killed. And that was Vicente. That leads into Vicente. So this is on July 4th. I'm indicting him 5 days later. I'm like, okay, we got to recraft. We still had enough for Vicente. Vicente is a village idiot. Amato treated him like crap. He would host meetings with high-level government people, other traffickers, and Vicente, gente, bring the drinks, give them drinks, go away. But Vicente liked the wet work. He's a masochist. He ran the torture session on that crew, on that port running case I was talking about earlier. That was Vicente. Bloody, dumber than a box of rocks, but he got off on all the violence. He was the one running the Juarez cartel in the fight against Chapo. You hear about all these murders that were happening in the late 2000s through 2012, 2013. That was Vicente. He's in jail now. They won't extradite him. You know? And I ended up indicting him. Actually, I went to refresh it got it signed off. A couple weeks later, we went to re-indict, or to indict, to grand jury. The first killing of the war happened when they got Corral. They went into a restaurant and they shot up the restaurant, killed like 7 people. Corral was the target, and they got Amato's operations officer, who was also going to be indicted by me. So now I'm down to 1. So we recrafted the indictment again, got it approval, and I went to grand jury and indicted Vicente. And that's the original. It's been updated since, behind a killing house that happened in the mid 2000s that Vicente ran. The Bureau did a really good job on that, and they came in and they amended that indictment to include that activity. And so, yeah, that still stands.
Mm.
Yeah, that was, 9 months later, and I went home.
Okay.